Countdown for blast off. X minus 5, 4, 3, 2, X minus 1, fire. From the far horizons of the unknown come transcribed tales of new dimensions in time and space. These are stories of the future, adventures in which you'll live in a million, could be years, on 1,000 maybe worlds. The National Broadcasting Company, in cooperation with Galaxy Science Fiction Magazine, presents
X minus 1.
Tonight's story, Colony, by Philip K. Dick.
The existence of Planet Blue, the fourth in orbit around a G-type sun somewhere in the Aldebaran sector, was predicted by spectroscopic analysis and spatio-mathematic equations some 50 years before an exploring mission was dispatched to it. The research team, under Commander Stella Morrison of the Colonial Administration, went into orbit around Planet Blue at 0700 Standard Sidereal Time. Authorized procedures were followed.
Aerial photography completed, Commander.
Anything show on the plates?
Well, Masterson was suspicious of these lines towards the poles, but the angles seemed to be coincidence.
They're not artifacts.
Glacial faults. Geological survey reports no volcanism.
Mm-hmm.
The launch is back. Dodge has a landing site pinpointed. Preliminary atmospheric tests look good. There's a 0.7 bulge in oxygen, but it's just enough to make you feel good. Looks like an open-air job. No pressure suits or condenser masks.
Well, that's precisely what they thought on Centauri 1. And the whole expedition was wiped out by spores.
Of course, I was assuming a favorable biocheck.
Mm-hmm.
Preliminary photographic survey, Mr. Wood.
Thank you, Dodge.
Do you want them played back here? We haven't transcribed the tape.
If you please, Lieutenant.
393. Al, pipe the photo tapes up here on 324.
Looks like a green world, all right. Punch up the tape, if you please, Lieutenant.
All orbital checks proved positive. The atmosphere and gravity Earth normal to 3 places on the Grayson scale. And the exploratory research ship, lowered itself by the Meyerson-Lay atmospheric skip method, came into a stalled tail landing just before sunset on a day marked in the logs as planetfall 0. The hatches remained sealed as a 2-mile perimeter was scanned by direct instrumentation. Major Lawrence Hall of Biosurvey reported EEG sweeps to the bridge.
Of course, it isn't conclusive. We've run into life forms that didn't broadcast a brainwave at all. The Grylodon lizard on Ganymede. Skull acted as an effective shielding due to a heavy lead constituent in the body chemistry.
Major Hall, I am not interested in a lecture on extraterrestrial zoology. Is there or is there not life within the range of your instruments?
Well, I'm sorry, Stella. The readings show no electrical brain activity whatsoever, and that covers life down to the level of invertebrates. There may be a few worms turning out there, and unless they're thinking awfully hard about something, we wouldn't pick them up.
Well, thank you. I want preliminary drones out for sampling. How long do you think that will take?
Well, a thorough job, take about 2 weeks.
I have a schedule, Major. How long till you can give me a protective Schedule C clearance?
2 days. Then I ought to check airborne spores and microorganisms.
Carry on, Major.
All right, Stella. I'll let you know if I turn up any, special diseases on Planet Blue.
Drone sample missiles were dispatched at sunrise. Air scoops, ground samplers, and vegetation choppers returned to base, and the bio team instituted full prescribed tests. Immediately identifiable airborne dangers were ruled out. Outside of the possible allergenic action of pollens, Planet Blue was ruled safe for normal exploratory procedures, and the real work of the survey was gotten underway.
Here's the morning report, Commander. 4 in sick bay, 3 ordered to light duty.
What happened?
Well, last night was liquor ration.
Oh.
Survey teams out in the field. Bio crew under Major Hall. Agronomy, ecological, geological, and deep map teams out.
Any reports back?
Deep map seems to think there's petroleum over to the north, and agronomy reports if you dropped a seed in this soil, you'd have to jump back to keep from being knocked over by the plant.
Sounds pretty good.
Commander, blue is about as likely a spot for colonization as has been turned up since Harvey's planted in 27.
Well, they'll be glad to hear that in Central. How long do you think until we can send back a clearance?
I've checked with department chiefs. They all estimate about 2 or 3 days more until they're satisfied. All except Bio.
Why is Major Hall dragging his feet?
I don't know.
Well, find out. And in the meantime, I'm going to call a staff meeting. Every day we can save on our report is important. If blue is suitable for colonization, I don't want to waste a minute.
By planetfall plus 3 weeks, all departments had reported favorably except biology. Ecological survey pointed out the difficulty involved in the necessity of importing animal life. But this problem had already been met in the colonization of Gamma 2 and 3, when an entire ecology had been transported in frozen gene banks and fertilized and incubated on the site. Biology, however, still withheld a favorable report.
Look, Larry.
What is the secret, Stella? Cold formality on the bridge and Larry when you're in my lab?
Well, I'm serious. Well, I've just gotten an official query from Central. They want to fish or cut bait on blue. Your department is the only one holding it up. We're 2 weeks behind schedule.
And the first colony on Vishnu was right on schedule, and 7,000 died of green spot.
That was before the full bio-check technique was worked out.
My dear, do you know how many different microorganisms there are in a cup full of dirt?
I'm not a freshman student of biology.
Oh, dear. And I was hoping I could tempt you into some field work.
Someday, Larry, you're going to make some remark in front of some junior officers or even enlisted personnel, and I'm going to have to call you on it.
Afraid for your dignity, my dear?
Look, I'm in charge of this expedition. My dignity happens to be a function of command, and as such, it's a survival factor.
Ah, well, then you had better take it easy at officers' mess. You know, I saw 2 biomates watching you climbing the ladder to the bridge. Do you know what their affectionate name for you is?
Major Hall. I'm serious. I want a bio clearance as soon as possible.
And you will get it. As soon as possible.
And when will that be?
When I'm satisfied.
Are the bugs here so dangerous that you're afraid of them?
No, on the contrary. We have yet to find a harmful life form.
Well, you didn't report that. If there are no harmful life forms...
No lice. No disease germs. No malignant virus.
Well, then what are you waiting for?
There should be. There should be at least one little fellow who could give you a common cold.
Look, sociology section found no native narcotic plant life. And inasmuch as there is no humanoid life, there is no bootlegging, gambling, immorality, and pornography either. By analogy, that would be a good reason not to colonize. Is that the idiotic logic you're following?
Microbiology is a little different, Stella. And anyway, what is the rush? Blue is something different. There's something peaceful in the air. Why rush to bring picnickers who drop candy wrappers and fill the pools up with empty beer cans?
Larry, I have a plans board conference in 10 minutes. If you don't bring in some kind of a report by then, I'll have to supersede you under a Section 23.
Ah, yes, that's what happened on Vishnu, isn't it? Followed by Green Spot and the wagons to drag the corpses out of the colony streets.
Never mind that, Major. I want a report.
In the biology section lab, Major Lawrence Hall continued to examine tissue samples from lower fauna and flora samples brought in from Planet Blue. He settled a container of prepared slides and flipped the switch on the electron microscope. Major Hall slid the first slide on the stage of the microscope and adjusted the focus knob.
Come on. Huh, there you are. All right, come on, kid, eat something.
The microorganisms, a form of rotifer, displayed none of the characteristics of ferocity and aggression which were normal on several dozen other planets. Presently, however, Major Hall stopped whistling. Inasmuch as the 2 eyepieces of his microscope twisted suddenly around his windpipe and started to strangle him.
Ooh.
Hall tore at them, but they dug relentlessly into his throat, steel prongs closing like the claws of a trap. With a convulsive effort, he managed to break free and fling the microscope from him.
Oh, it's crazy. It's going to let go of my leg.
He kicked the microscope loose and drew his blaster. As the microscope scuttled away, rolling on its coarse adjustment knobs, he fired. The microscope disappeared in a cloud of metallic particles. The plans board of the research team was assembled in the officers' library. Commander Stella Morrison was outlining plans on a detailed aerial survey map.
This long, flat area is ideal for the actual city. It has an adequate watershed in the hills here, and weather conditions vary sufficiently to give the settlers something to talk about. There are large deposits of various minerals. The colonists can set up their own factories. They won't have to do any importing. Over here is the biggest forest on the planet. If they have any sense, they'll leave it, but if they want to make newspapers out of it, that's not our concern. Now, all reports are in except bio, and I think that before long we'll be getting...
Stella!
Major Hall, may I remind you that when the consul is in session, no one is permitted to interrupt...
Come to my lab.
Look, Hall, if you're not feeling well, you look a little sick.
Yes, well, I should be. My microscope just tried to strangle me.
Oh? Oh, I see.
It almost got me, but I blasted it. Well, that's not the worst.
It isn't?
No. The microscope is still there. After I blasted it, I found it under the lab bench, untouched.
Look, Major, you sure you don't need a psych test?
Well, I don't know. I suppose it does sound a little...
You look post-trauma to me.
Huh? Oh.
Well, you're right. Well, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Commander.
Put Major Hall on psycho report. I think we'll have to proceed to order colonization here without him.
Major Hall proceeded to Psych Center, and inserting his ID card in the robot Neo Rorschach machine, he placed his hands on the contacts and activated the search and gestalt circuits. Presently, the green light flashed, indicating tentative diagnosis. Major Hall hit the response key.
Severe disturbance. Instability ratio above 10.
And that's over danger, isn't it?
Yes. 8 is danger. 10 is unusual, especially for a person of your index. Your norm is 4.
Yeah, I know.
I require more data to determine whether this unusual instability ratio is an aberrant reaction or is normal survival oriented.
Well, I can't tell you anymore.
It is illegal to hold back information during a robo-psych test. You will deliberately distort diagnosis, which is punishable by 6 months forfeiture of pay and allowances, or such other penalty as a court-martial may direct.
Thanks a heap. Look, do you record a high degree of unbalance for me?
There is a high degree of psychic disorganization, but what it signifies, or its etiology, I am unable to determine without further data.
Yeah. Okay, well, just take a tip from me. Stay away from homicidal microscopes.
That is an interesting Freudian slip. You undoubtedly mean homicidal maniacs, not microscopes. This indicates a possible maladjustment in the area of your specialty.
Why don't you go grease your id?
I will consider that suggestion.
Major Hall returned to the biosection lab and tested the atmosphere near the place where he had fired his blast gun at the microscope. The analysis showed a high density of metallic particles colloidally suspended in the air. In a state of confusion, and with an emotional distress quotient of at least .742, he stripped off his uniform and entered the shower.
Oh, well, you can't expect anybody to believe a story like that. I must be off my rocker.
Major Hall stepped out of the shower, reached for one of the towels on the rack. The towel wrapped around his head and yanked him against the wall. Rough cloth pressed over his mouth and nose. He fought wildly, pulling away. All at once, the towel let go. Major Hall crawled out of the shower and proceeded to dress. His belt, heavy canvas with reinforced metal links, tried to get him around the waist and crush him. The belt, being a heavy-duty issue, was strong, and they rolled on the floor until Hall was able to reach his blaster. He threw himself down on a chair to regain his breath. The arms of the chair started to close around him, but this time he was ready.
Major, I don't believe you were announced.
Look, Commander. Stella.
You're armed. You know the regulations
I'm sorry, Stella. This is important.
Well, what do you want? I have a report here from the robo-psych tester. It says you've hit a ratio of 10 within the last 24-hour period. We've known each other for a long time. Larry, what's happening to
Stella,
you?
I told you. A little while ago, my microscope tried to strangle me. Then when I was getting out of the shower, a bath towel tried to smother me. I got by that. And while I was dressing, my belt...
Wood, in here on the double.
And I finally blasted that. And then an armchair beside...
Yes, Commander.
Stand by a moment.
Stella, will you listen to me? This is serious. Ordinary objects suddenly turning lethal. Maybe this is what we've been looking for. Maybe this is...
Your microscope tried to kill you?
I told you, its stems got me here around the windpipe.
No one else saw this happen?
No. I blasted it, and then I found it again, perfectly all right.
I see. Wood.
Yes, ma'am.
Get 2 guards and take Major Hall down to Captain Taylor in sickbay. Have him confined until he can be sent back to Terra for examination.
Listen, Stella...
Sorry, Major. You can't prove this story, and we'll just have to assume it's a psychotic projection on your part. And we can't afford to have any psychotics running around loose on this planet. Wood, carry on.
You'll be all right, Hall. Back on Earth, they can clear a thing like this up in a few weeks.
Yeah, maybe you're right, Wood. Maybe I'm just out of my mind.
Here we are. Captain Taylor. Captain Taylor. He should be in. Captain. The hatch isn't locked. Taylor, what's the matter?
That scatter rug is choking him. Take an end and pull. But quick before he's crushed. Grab that rug.
Now hear this. General alarm. General alarm. Emergency stations. Emergency stations. Condition red. Sidearms will be issued to all personnel. General alarm.
Captain Taylor tells me the rug came from Terra. His grandmother braided it.
That's what I was trying to tell you. It was not the rug that attacked him.
Then what was it?
Something that looked like this rug. And it was something that looked like a microscope that went for me. And the towel and the belt.
You mean there's some life form that can imitate anything?
Yes, it seems so. And it's deadly.
Hey, Charlie, general alarm. Get up out of that sack. Hey, what'd you do with my gloves? Oh. Hey, where'd I get 2 pair? Well, meeny, miny, mo. 1 pair of gloves is the same as the other. Hey, these gloves are moving. How do you like that? These fool gloves are going for my blast pistol. Charlie, is this one of your crazy electronic gags? Did you rig my gloves? Hey, look out for that pistol! Look out!
Commander, there's another casualty. Lieutenant Dodds.
What happened?
I don't know. He seems to have shot himself.
Oh, no.
Stella, I think that I have something.
Dodds is dead.
Look, we know that this thing can camouflage itself. It can imitate any object it leans up against. All right, now, listen to this.
Larry, we've got
This is the answer. There's a tape from Captain Galt. He was out on bio-survey. He had a throat mic on. He was talking to the operator at base. Now, listen to this.
Head for home now. What's this emergency about? Hourglass Stella having hysterics? That's funny. I can swear I parked my bucket over by those trees. Well, it's here anyway. Heat up some coffee for me. I'll be in a couple. Yeah, that's funny. There's another bucket over by the trees. Where'd this one come from? thing's stuck. It's folding up around me. Joe, get a squad out here. Joe, acid. I can't get out. It's digestive fluid. Get somebody out here before.
This transmission just stopped. All right, now we're up against some organic form of life, and there should be some way to destroy it. We've already blasted a few, but we don't know how many more there are. Maybe it's an infinitely divisible substance, some kind of protoplasm.
We've had over 12 casualties reported, and there's still 5 teams out in the field.
All right, it's a lethal life form. Now, that explains why we found everything else harmless. Nothing could compete with this. We have mimic plants of our own, the twisty slug on Venus, but nothing that goes this far.
It can be killed, though. You said that yourself.
If it can be found. You can't tell. Clothes, rugs, drapes, chairs. We can't tell which is which. We've got to try to find some poison, some spray that will destroy them wholesale.
Oh, no.
What's the matter?
In the corner. I never noticed 2 briefcases over there before. There was only one, I think. How are we going to know?
Shortly after the final casualty report of 30 dead and 12 wounded, Major Hall sealed off the bio quarters and moved in with a team from Chem Section, all dressed in corrosive-resistant suits.
Well, I'll make sure that you've got a tight seal on the neck joint.
What are you going to do, Major?
I've got a combination of hydrogen and arsenic under pressure, arsine gas. That'll give us an idea of how much they've infiltrated. Arsine is deadly to humans, so check your helmets. Now, Sergeant, I don't want any panic blasting. Arsine is inflammable. All right. Release the valve.
As the gas filled the room, the first to go was a filing cabinet, which melted and oozed to the floor, followed by pipettes, Bunsen burners, bell jars, and test tubes. The lab was sealed off and a meeting held in Commander Morrison's quarters.
Well, it's protoplasm, all right. You could see that when the mimic shape melted. It was a cell nucleus as big as your hand. They resemble the simple unicellular protozoa. Of course, gigantic in size compared to microorganisms.
Can we spray them?
Arsine disturbed them. And I suppose enough might kill them. But we haven't got that much. We can't flood the planet. We wouldn't be able to use our blasters, and it's lethal to humans.
We'll have to pull out.
Stella, I'm afraid you don't quite understand. We can't take the chance of carrying them back to the system disguised as a boot or a towel or anything. And they seem to multiply by binary fission. Wouldn't take long to overrun Earth and the rest of the system.
If we stay here, they'll pick us off one by one.
We could have arsine brought in or some other poison, but that would destroy most of the other life on the planet along with it.
Then we'll have to burn the planet clean. Wood?
Yes, ma'am.
Set up a call to system monitor. I'm going to get the unit off here out of danger. After that, we can work out the best way of cleaning off this planet.
You run the risk of taking them back to Terra.
Can they imitate higher life forms? Can they masquerade as humans?
Apparently not. They seem to be limited to inorganic subjects.
Then we'll go back without any inorganic material.
But our clothes, they can imitate the synthetic fibers, belts, gloves, boots.
We're not taking our clothes. We're going back without anything at all.
Oh, I see.
Get me a beam to central monitor immediately.
The nearest cruiser was 2 light hours away, Captain Daniel Davis commanding. Tight beam communication was established after coordinates were flashed from central monitor.
This is Captain Davis. Can you read me?
I read you. Commander Morrison here. Captain, you are to make a planetfall as soon as possible at coordinates to be supplied you. We are going to board your ship naked.
Naked?
That's right.
That's, well,
When will you land?
about 1,500 hours, I'd say.
Captain, would it be possible for your men to...
I'll have my crew below decks. We'll land on robot control.
Thank you. Wood, sign off the transmission.
Yes, ma'am.
There was some objection among the enlisted personnel, particularly in the women's quarters. The ship landed at 1200 hours, 3 hours sooner than expected.
All hands disrobe immediately. All personnel report to field, ready to embark.
So soon? I didn't hear the ship land.
It's there, all right. We'd better go. Larry.
Mm-hmm.
Larry, you go ahead. I'd rather get ready alone.
Parked in the center of the landing field was a cruiser, its hull pitted and dented by meteor strikes. It lay motionless, with no sign of life aboard. A crowd of naked people was moving across the field, blinking in the bright sunlight. Commander Stella Morrison, without any sign of rank apparent, paused on the ramp and spoke to Major Lawrence Hall beside her.
Larry,
Yeah? What is it?
I'm scared.
Why?
I don't know.
Psychological reaction. Forget it. It's a reaction to nudity carried over from early childhood. Come on, we're holding up the line.
Larry, I want to go back.
Stella, look. Now, at least Davis kept his promise. There are no enlisted men lining the hatches to enjoy the view. You see, it's dark in there. There's nothing to worry about. Come on. Up you go.
The last of the research team filed into the interior of the ship, and the hatch closed behind them. At exactly 1500 hours, Captain Daniel Davis landed his ship in the center of the field. Automatic relays opened the main lock hatch and lowered the ramp. Davis and his staff sat in the control cabin waiting.
Oh, how do you like that? Where are they? Well, maybe the whole fool thing is a joke. We've waited an hour already.
They waited. And waited. But no one came.
You have just heard X-1, presented by the National Broadcasting Company in cooperation with Galaxy Science Fiction Magazine, which this month features Double Dare by Robert Silverberg, which demonstrates that pride can lead to much worse than a fall. It can put a man out on a limb and keep him there. Galaxy Magazine, on your newsstand today. Tonight, by transcription, X-1 has brought you Colony, a story from the pages of Galaxy written by Philip K. Dick and adapted for radio by Ernest Kenoy. Featured in the cast were Frederica Chandler, John Larkin, James Stevens, Larry Robinson, Bill Quinn, and Alan Bergman. Your narrator was Norman Rose. Your announcer, Fred Collins. X-1 was directed by Daniel Sutter and is an NBC Radio Network production.
Hear music in the Morgan manner. Russ Morgan live weekday mornings on NBC Bandstand.
Good morning indeed. How are you? Can you read my shirt? Can you read it? I don't give a rat's ass. I do not. Never have. Never will. I got no rat's ass to give. Oh, that's hot. Sweet and hot. You know it. Just the way I like it. That's the way I like it. Uh-huh. How you all doing out there in boob tube land, huh? Come on. I'm just taking a look at my list of stuff here. Let's see. I got the wood. So, yeah. I did that yesterday. I got some wood. Talked to my wife about the ceiling light in here. So that's possibly a go. And I went by the bank. Pulled some of that shirt money out and stick it in the old cigar box there. Excellent. And real quick, worked on some graphics for something, a shirt coming up. They were bogged down over at the shirt place, so I decided to take on some of the graphics, graphic design work, because I got experience in that. I went to graphic design school back in the 90s. Yay. Oh, that's good. Yeah, I went out yesterday. I didn't want to, but I went out. Went by the bank, grabbed the money, went by the shirt place, talked to them, looked at the shirts that they got in, the brown shirt and the heather gray shirt for the two designs currently in progress. Fun on a bun. Went to Home Depot, got 24 pieces of wood for this gate, and actually found hinges, believe it or not. I didn't get any at Home Depot, nor did I price any, because I assumed they were going to be expensive. And then we go to Walmart, and my wife says, why don't you check on hinges here? And I said, you're right. So I looked at the hinges, and the black ones were $6 for one single hinge, I believe. And they were just regular, just a regular little triangle and a little rectangle, right? There were no decorations at all. And then I found this. Now this has actually got decoration on it. Let me go ahead and grab a sheet of paper to put up against it so you can see how decorative it actually is. See, it's got all these little corners and stuff on it, and little angles and cute little turns and finials and stuff. It's pretty cool. So I got the pair for $3. They were on clearance. Got a yellow tag on there. So I got the pair for $3. I decided to wait on the screws to see what I have. I'm trying to do this job as cheap as possible for this lady. I don't want to charge her over the amount that I need. I'm just trying to do this so that I can get my hard drive, external hard drive for the studio here. And I don't need any more than that. And the job is worth more than that. So I'm just doing it for enough so that I can go and get my external hard drive. Now, if there's any other money to be discussed, it won't be me. It'll be my wife and her friend who I'm doing the gate for. So there. And I told her straight out, look, I'm probably not going to want much for this. So it's actually, I'm going to want probably less money than we're going to pay for materials. Usually materials are like a starting ground, right? A starting off point. Usually labor is 2 or 3 times the amount of the materials, unless it's something weird like I'm going to buy and install an air conditioner. The air conditioner is going to be $500 or $600. It's going to cost me $100 to put it in, probably. Unless I got to cut a hole. Even if I got to cut a hole in the wall, it's still going to cost less than the air conditioner because it's not a big job. But a lot of little jobs where the material is a couple $100, you can usually count on the job being $200 or $300. Excuse me, 2 or 3 times whatever the material costs are. Just winds up that way. I don't know why. More material, lots to do. I guess. I don't know. So hi, how are you? It's Old Time Radio Wednesday. I just listened to this morning during the pre-show. I just listened to Colony, a Philip K. Dick story. Very unusual. It would leave it to Philip K. Dick that everyone at the end of the story would be completely buck naked, right? On radio, 1950. This is 1957, this episode. Or 56. It's 56. So this episode is 1956. And it's on the radio, but still, even talking about everybody being buck naked. Yeah, it's kind of weird. Especially for the 1950s. And they're going to hold hearings on it. How dare you, sir, good sir? How dare you bring nude people to the radio? Why, our imaginations are forever stained, good sir. Sorry, I went on a little congressional tangent there. Ugh. I'm trying real hard to avoid any news at this point because it's horrible. I mean, it seems like every decade political bullshit just gets worse. And I am trying really hard to avoid it. You turn on your phone and there's news. You put on the computer, there's news, TV, news, and it's constantly blasting bullshit from one side or the other. You got these. I hate these. Vote no on Proposition 33 or whatever that fucking one is, right? It doesn't matter what one it is, because it's always the same bullshit. They have a really good proposition, but they underwrite all this bullshit into it. So that no matter what, you're voting for crap, right? I don't want to pay for this extra shit. It doesn't matter. You have to, or we ain't going to let it pass. And then they get these propositions and these deals that they're supposed to be really, really good for somebody. And it usually winds up being an organization, a bureaucratic body, rather than actual people. Yeah. And I sit and I take the book and I read through all of these things, right? And you read through and you go, is it good or is it bad? And you don't know. You just don't fucking know. It seems like it might be good, but there's these other things there that are saying that it's bad, and then other people are saying it's good, and then other people are saying it's bad, and so where do you trust your gut? You can't trust your gut because it's all crap. You can't trust the people because they're all crap. Because they're paid to say these things. They're a paid sponsored program for the, I authorize this message on my behalf, and it's just bullshit. Or they get one veteran to say, yeah, this is good, and they get 20 veterans to come and say, no, it's bad, and they get 30 veterans to come and say, yeah, no, it's really good, and then 40 veterans come and say, no, it's bad. But we can find more veterans to say what we want them to say from either side. It don't matter. Because it's just bullshit. You know who profits? The people who make the commercials, the people who star in the commercials, the people who write these bills in slanted in their favor. It's just all bullshit. It's, you know what? The thing is that you can look at news broadcast from 50 years ago. And it's the same bullshit. Different name, different country, different problem. But it's the same bullshit. It's the same bullshit. You look 50 years ago, gas prices. Oh my gosh, how dare gas prices go over $50, or over $1 per gallon, right? I'm like, oh, people just fucking blowing it, blowing gaskets, and then they get used to it, and then it goes up a couple of cents, and everybody, oh, and then everybody gets used to it, and it's just constantly consistent, unchanging bullshit. I'm here to tell you, I do not like watching the news at all. During election season, I just want to shoot the television. Literally. It's horrible. So I got about an hour's sleep last night. If you can't tell, well, it seems like I'm wide awake, huh? That's because that's the way I am. I'm used to not getting any sleep. Between the decades and decades of insomnia I've suffered throughout my entire life. This current decade, oh boy, the pain. The pain has actually been taking over and ruling my insomnia. Yesterday I laid down for a nap at 2 with the intention of getting up around 4, and I didn't get up until 6 or 6:30, right? Which is only about 4 hours sleep when you really cut out the bullshit, right? I love that word, bullshit. Bullshit. It kind of just sums up humanity, right? Bullshit. Yeah. So last night, like an hour's sleep. Only because I didn't even leave from here until 1:30 in the a.m. this morning. I was working on this graphic, and basically what I had to do was I had to take a t-shirt a picture of a t-shirt from way back in the day, and I had to get rid of the t-shirt, and I had to pull off the key graphic that I want for this. And then I had to isolate it and erase everything around it and behind it. So it was just a graphic standing alone, like it looks on the paper that I showed you. It's just a bunch of lines. So I can take those lines, and now I can paste those lines on any color, anything, including silkscreen, screener thingy, the thing that makes the screen. Right. So I only have a little bit more to do around the edges. I need to make the edges solid, and then I need to insert down on the bottom Lake Elsinore, California. Once I do that, I can turn in my project and get my grade, as I told my wife last night. I'm going to get an A. And I bet I do. I bet I get such a good grade on this graphic here that I'm going to feel confident enough to work on the other ones that I need to do. And then I told my wife they're going to want to hire me. Not. Although I will volunteer my services for any graphics work they need. You know, if they need somebody to sit and pull a bunch of graphics off of something, you know, and it's going to take like hours and hours and hours. Yeah, let me do it. Shoot me a discount. We're hooked, because I'm going to be into them for like 1,200, 1,500 shirts by the end of all of this. So anything I can do for discounts. My wife even said, "Hey, give one of our cards. Let them know we do cleaning and stuff." I'm like, these girls are busy. Maybe they don't have time to clean. Maybe we can do a little exchange. Anyways, I'm pretty excited about the shirts. Once again, every week now, I get that pump, that energy. It's the 9th, so I'm hoping to see some more money today, and then some more money over the weekend. because next week we are printing. We are printing next week. I'm just about done with this graphic. I'm going to take the next graphic for this and work on it, just in case they haven't had a chance to get to it. And I'll email them the graphics and say, here we go, we're off and running, baby. And then I'll start working on the next graphics. But the plan is, they finished my labels, the labels that go on the inside, right? The iron-on labels on the inside of the... and they look so beautiful. I literally looked at that in my hand, set it inside of a shirt, and almost died. I literally cried. The girls are like, "Oh, oh." They're all, "Oh," when I'm like, "Oh my God, you're gonna make me cry." Just thinking about it, right? It's like it's happening, and they're like, "We're gonna make it happen," and I'm like, "Yeah, you're telling me it's gonna happen like the bomb." The bomb, man. It's like totally the bomb. And I can't wait to send shirts to those people who are like naysayers, right? Where's that naysayer? Here, take a shirt. And I got a shirt gun. Shirt cannon. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. Yeah. So I'm pumped. I uploaded my X-1s for next week. Today I need to upload radio shows. And tonight I need to put together my 5 educational films, one of which will be kind of Halloween-ish in theme. And then what else am I doing? And no more. And then so let's see, radio shows. Yeah, baby. Finish Monkeys. And then Ed Films. Alright, educational films. And then I'm going to be trying to find time to sand out all of these boards. My plan is, my wife's like, you know what? This gate's not going to fit in this car. And the battery in my van is dead. I haven't driven it in like 6 months. So I'm like, all right, well, we either need to get somebody to get over here and pick this gate up, or we need to charge the battery in my van and see if we can get it working. And then I thought, you know what? Why don't I just go ahead and build the gate, all of the pieces, and dry fit everything, and then disassemble it to a certain extent, because it won't be assembled completely. Take it over there, build a form, right? A perfectly square corner to push the gate into on a table or concrete or something, so that I can create a perfect square to make this gate. I need a jig, right? So take the pieces over there, put them into the jig, screw it all together. That's it. Basically, I'm going to create one solid side that the hinge is attached to. A C channel on the bottom is going to insert into that bottom, and a C channel on the top is going to insert into that top, and screw together to create, well, it's going to look like a C. But the C channels on the top and the bottom are going to take the boards as I slide the boards in all the way across to fill up the thing, right? Once that is done, then I can take the end board and slide it in and attach it to the C channels, and then screw it down. The cross member on each side will have a bolt that goes through and compresses all of this together, as well as being the support to keep it from going askew, right? To keep it from going wonky while it's hanging on the hinges. You notice that some gates have a cable and a turnbuckle running diagonally through it, and that is to keep the gate from sagging. I'm going to accomplish that with wood because I've got no place to put cable. So I'm going to accomplish it with a couple of cross members. And they're there for decoration as well as structural integrity. So she showed me a picture of the gate again the other day. And I was like, well, that's it. That's exactly what I'm building. That's beautiful. So I'm going to figure about a day of sanding. And I'll just go out there with the sander and just sand each board down. And then restack them so that they stay nice and straight. And then go out and create my end piece, my C channels, and my end cap. And then cut all the slats to go in there and cut my cross members and then the faux cross members that turn each side into an X by putting a cross member here and a cross member here. It's just a little faux deal. So I'll finish that on both sides and get it to where it feels good and then pack it all up. Basically strap all of those slat boards together so that they stay straight. Take all of the other boards and tie them together so that everything stays snug. Bunch it all together in one big bundle. Strap it together so that it's all tight to itself so that nothing warps. And then plan a day to go over there and just sit and assemble this thing and install it. I've got to install two 2x4s on the wall where the hinges go and where the latch goes, and a bumper so that the gate will bump up against something and latch and not rattle. And then once I have all the pieces, just get it over there and assemble it. Bada bing, and then hang it. And then, of course, on the way home, well, let's see, we went to a Home Depot, and then we went to Walmart. Of course, you can't go to Home Depot without going to Walmart. So we picked up a couple of groceries and a few essential items. And then, no more than that. It's like, all right, let's go home because I'm having the noodle dream. So I felt like coming home and having some ramen, right? Big bowl of hot, spicy ramen. And boy, that stuff it gets so spicy that at some point while I'm eating the first few bites, sometimes I do, but I almost got the hiccups this time. And it's like that hiccup you get when you eat spicy food. And it's like, oh, please, no. And I abated it and ate my noodles and watched about an hour and a half of a movie and then went and laid down. And then my wife comes in and wakes me up at about 6 o'clock and she says, get up, I made carne asada. And I'm like, oh shit, it's on now. So, and I was out. I was like, I almost made the decision to just stay in bed and say, fuck it. And it's a good thing I didn't because I got that graphic done last night, most of it. And I'm really happy with that. Last night and this morning. I can't believe I worked that long on it. It only felt like a couple of hours. It turned out to be like 4 hours I worked on this thing. But I got really good at it. The arthritis in this hand was so bad that I took a break to go take a leak, and I went to undo my buttons on my 501s, and the pain that that shot through this hand was just crazy. It felt like somebody smacked it with a hammer. I just went to pull the buttons, and it was like somebody just smacked it. So I'm in there going, trying to take a leak. And then I came back in, got into my position, which was like this, with my hand on the mouse. And I did that like for 4 hours last night, because I wanted to be right up into the monitor of the computer. And I had to have my hand in the perfect spot so that I wasn't really using it. I was just kind of clicking once in a while, but I wasn't like grabbing onto it. My daughter said, let me get my tablet and you can use it with a stylus. And I'm thinking, oh, a stylus with these arthritic hands, that's going to be even worse. I said, I better not. I told her that it hurt. She said, I told you. And I said, yeah, but with a stylus it would be worse. I'd be cramped up. I would literally be cramped up. I laid in bed for a couple of hours last night, got a little bit of sleep, but for the most part, this hand, it just kept turning into a fist, right? And no matter what I did, I'd stretch it out, and it would just spring right back into a fist. So I had to flip sides so that I could take the hand and lay it out on my pillow to keep it from closing up. When the arthritis gets real bad, this hand will literally just curl up like this. All right, it will literally just curl up like this, and there's nothing I can do about it. There's nothing I can do about it except go, ow. And I do that pretty well. I do that. That's one of the things that you hear echoing through my house a lot. Ow. Badges, we don't need no stinking badges. We just need to say how. Quite honestly, I may get right back into bed this morning. Unless I get back onto the computer and start working on some graphics. And then if I do, I'll be uploading stuff at the same time. Unless I'm doing that, I may just crawl back into bed for a couple hours. I think the only reason I'm wide awake now is because I had that good 4 hours sleep yesterday. So with the hour-ish that I got last night, this morning, literally, I was like laying there, and it's like 1:30, 1:45, 1:55, 2 o'clock, 2:05, and I'm out. And then it's like 3 a.m., I got to take a piss. Oh, and I was so pissed off. And I got up and took a piss, 3 a.m., cramping hands, trying to get comfortable. And I didn't use the air conditioner last night, first time in months. I just had the fan on, and the fan is like blowing right on me, and these little hairs on the top of my head are blowing in the breeze, right? And they're just like something crawling across my head. So I gotta pull the sheet over my head. And that didn't work real well. But it took me 15 or 20 minutes to get back to sleep. And then boom, the alarm goes off at 4, and it's like fucking A, and then boom, 4:10 snooze. Boom, 4:20, all right, fuck it, I gotta get up. And I was like, if it goes off at 4:20 and you're still tired, just push it to off and go back to sleep and don't do a show today. And I told myself that. And at 4:20, the snooze bell went again, and I was like, fuck it, I turned it to snooze again, and I was like, you should have turned it off. Oh, fuck it, I'm not going to go back to sleep, I'm wide awake. And that's how that worked this morning. And how unfortunate, right? Unfortunate. It is unfortunate. But yesterday, we went to Walmart, right? And we're like, what did my wife say? something. She said something about something. And I said, I don't know, do you feel like running me to 29 Palms? And she's like, what? And I said, I'm going to have to go to 29 Palms to the reservation. We're already out. You're driving. You want to just keep driving? So she never said anything. So she pulls off at one of our houses that we take care of. And we're pulling up the street. I'm like, oh, we got to pull the trash cans in. So I said, all right. So I pulled my seatbelt off, and I said, all right, well, you're driving. If you're going to take me to 29, then I'll get out and get the cans, right? Usually I don't even want to get in and out of a car unless I'm just getting in or out. I don't like to do the up-down stuff. It hurts too much. So I was like, all right. So I got out, moved the trash can, got back in, and we headed out to 29 Palms. So she's never been the back way to 29, where you're going down the road, and then you take this little split that takes you off, and then it's this diagonal road that shoots you right out toward the casino, rather than going into 29 and then up, right? So I take her this new way, and there's a lot of neat little old tiny little houses over there. So we start talking about houses. They got a thrift shop over there, and the neighborhood, the community over there is called Smoke Tree, and right across the highway is another community called Chocolate Drop. Right, and this is in the 29 Palms area, and I'd never heard of these things before. Right, I'm like, well, that's weird, because I was looking on the map because I wanted to see how big the reservation was, because the reservation is only as big as the casino property, and I'm like, well, I don't recall there being a casino or a reservation out here. How did they get this property? Has it always been theirs, or did they acquire it from the government with some kind of treaty or whatever? I don't know. But it seems kind of weird that it's not. Usually when you see a reservation, it's like a neighborhood. Granted, it's an old rundown neighborhood, but every reservation I've been through, been on, visited, it's always got some kind of neighborhood or town thing going on. And this is just the property. You look on the map, and it's just the property is just the casino area. So how did that happen? Where did it come from? How long has it been there? Do I have any maps that would show it? Any old? Let me look and see if I got any old maps. Because casinos have only been popular for the last 20 years, 10 or 15 or 20 years. In Indian gaming, is that what they call it? So let's see, Los Angeles, Diego, Yosemite, Reno. I thought I had some Riverside. And I thought I had a big road atlas. One of those big old giant paper road atlas books. Well, I guess I was mistaken. There you go. It reminds me of a song that I wrote that I never quite finished. It was pretty close, but I never quite finished it. The asshole I was writing it for ripped my heart out. So I just gave it up. But it was, I think one of the lines in it was, you were my mistake and I'm your mystery. Mistake, mystery. I get it. Get it? Ah, jeez. It was pretty dumb. All the way around. Writing the song itself, the reason I was writing it, the person I was writing it for, the whole incident around that person, helping that person. Yeah, it was all a big mistake. I was a mistake. Well, I'm going to grab this bracket thing that I made because that's something I did yesterday. So this is this funny little thing here is what I made yesterday. Right? It looks like something you make in wood shop and you have no clue what it's made for, right? Well, I'm here to tell you. I ain't got a clue either. I don't know what the fuck it is. No, really. No, really. No. Really. So this is one of my cameras here. Okay. So this is a camera with all of the little doodads on it. And let me see, I'm going to take off the handle. So it's just a camera here. And then man, I need to smoke something. I am in a bad way, pain-wise. Alright, so we're going to take this. So this bracket here, let's talk about this. So this here, alright, there's this board that runs along the top of my cabinet here. It's just a decorative board, right? But it's an inch wide and it sticks up an inch above the cabinet, right? So this clips onto the top of the cabinet. This here bumps against the cabinet to keep it from doing this, right? Otherwise it would have to go in an inch and a half to bump into the whatever's there, the TV or whatever part of the cabinet that is there, right? So this hangs there like that and stays straight. This here is hinged, all right? And this bolt here is for the camera. The camera attaches to this bolt here, and then a nut comes up and tightens to keep the camera stationary. There's a golf tee right here, okay? This golf tee is there in a tight hole so that when you push it in, it adjusts this thing at an angle so I can point my camera down. At some point, I'm going to take this hinge and I'm going to put one hole in the middle of this hinge and use a nut and bolt on it and make it so that it swivels. So this piece here on the top will now be able to turn left and right, right, and angle not only up and down, but this whole piece will then be able to swing and aim toward something, so it won't just sit on and aim at one angle. It will actually be able to do this, and then this will turn so that it can do this at any direction, also being able to turn 360 degrees on this. So there's my camera mount, and I'll go ahead and put this one on here so that we can get a look at what it looks like to have a camera on here. And I'll just screw it in there a little bit, and then we'll tighten up that bolt to the top, and that's it. And there's my camera bracket. Pretty bitchin', huh? So this is going to remove a tripod from the corner of my room over here. If you see this shot here, you see that silver leg there? That's a tripod, and it's a big tripod, so it's taking up a huge portion of my room, and I don't like it. Every time I have to vacuum or move something around, get into one of those drawers or cabinets, I gotta move that fucking tripod, and my camera angle is disturbed again. This way, like my other two cameras over here, this one and the one you just saw, they're stationary. They don't move. They hang up on the wall on the other end of the room, and they stay there. Cables coming all the way across the room into my stuff here. This one is the same way, but it's on this tripod. Now it is going to be up out of the way. Nothing on the floor, nothing hanging down. It's up out of the way. Cables running up and over out of the way so you don't see them. And I'm real pleased about that. So I'm going to be installing this bracket today and getting rid of that. And at some point, I'll be that much closer to being able to vacuum in here, because I need to vacuum once a week. And when you're like, oh, I got to move this, I got to move that, I got to do this, and I'm like, fuck it, I'll just vacuum later. So now I have one less reason to hold me back from the vacuuming, because I like the vacuuming, man. Hey, man, they like the vacuuming. So yeah, the Indian reservation out there. They have a store, not the reservation, but there's this company that has a store down in India. And I'm assuming that they're subcontracting with this company. So that they can do this on the property up there. Just like they subcontract with a casino company to run their casino, right? So I went in there yesterday expecting to spend my usual, meager little amount, as I do every week. And the guys are really cool in there as usual, really nice people. These guys are just hanging out, bullshitting. And so I come in bullshit, and then we're all just bullshitting together. And, I'm cracking them up, making them laugh and stuff. So I give them a couple of my cards, here, check me out on YouTube. So it was like, right on. And then I just looked at the guy and I said, Chacos and Indica. And he says, all right. So he comes over with one and he asks his friend, could you check to see if we have any more in the back? Because this is all we got out here. So his friend's in the back and he says, well, I usually get, once in a while I get one of these heritage ones. Because I said, aren't those the ones that are like $15 or $16 more, right? And then there's other ones that I usually get. And he said, yeah, they're more expensive. And I said, well, that's why I get these over here. And he said, yeah, that's what I usually get a couple of these, and every once in a while I splurge and I get one of these. And I said, well, I guess I'll have to try to write that into my budget at some point. And I said, so how much is it? And he tells me, and I'm like, well, crap. All right, well, that's just a little bit more than I was willing to spend today, but I do happen to have a couple of bucks extra. And he's like, well, come on over. And he went over to the register and he starts fiddling around in the register looking for discounts. And I'm like, what a guy. So he finds me discounts and gets me a $6 discount, which brings it back down to within a couple of dollars of what I was going to spend anyway. For the same amount, only something a little more top shelf, right? And I'm like, wow, this is really cool. And I'm a member with a member number, and I have earned points, and I actually get points for like every dollar that I spend or something, right? And I'm like, oh wow, so what do I get at Denny's? Well, you get a bunch of points and you get a certain percentage off, and I'm like, okay, that's cool. So I guess you have to tick down from $3.90. Yeah. It looks like the balance is $3.90, and they've issued me 56. This is the balance is 334, issued 56, so total it would be 380, right? 400, 380. So I don't know how the points work. I'm going to keep this receipt and check it against the next receipt and see what my points level becomes. Because I'm there like every week, right? I mean, this isn't a recreation thing for me. This is to keep the pain away and to keep my sanity. Because pain will make you crazy. It'll screw with your head. Really big time. So I avoid it at all cost. Of course, I smoke, which is, in the long run, is probably going to ultimately cause more damage than I'm trying to prevent. But, you know, what do you do? What do you do? Too little, too late. The damage is done. You know, I've already jumped off the cliff. I ain't got no parachute. Well, I'm getting pretty excited about having a house guest soon. Next week, we get us a house guest, only one. We were having my sister's, my daughter's friend was supposed to be coming out, and just can't make it. So, it's going to be a different trip. And she's like, well, I'm going to give Charlie's ticket to my friend who's going to be out there going to the first day of this event. And I thought, all right, well, if your friend is going to be up for it, you know, 2 days in a row, that's pretty tough. But I said, hey, if your friend is up for it, to be young, then good. They'll have the skinny on everything going on, right? The schedule, the food, the prices, what to bring, what not to bring, that kind of shit. So, cool. If they're not up for it, then I'll go a couple of hours in the evening and check out a couple of the bands. But I'm hoping that she does get a friend to go, you know. Or it'll just be her and Joey, and then me later, or her and Joey and her friend who is going to the first day with his mother. And I'm like, what is Mom? And she's, I said, so how old is he? And she's, he's a little younger than me. And I said, oh yeah, sure. I said, you're gonna get there, and he's gonna be like 47 years old. She said, stop. And he's gonna have like a beard, but stop. He's gonna have this shirt that's too small, and his mom's gonna be this 80-year-old lady with blue hair, and she's like, it's busted up. Stop. Yeah. 47 years old, a shirt that's 8 sizes too small with his belly hanging out, and a big all-day sucker. Oh, my mommy's taking me to that. And now I should dress like that and go with her. Thanks for taking me. Oh, that lady has put her dogs out. You hear the dog? She'll put it out in 5 minutes. That dog starts squawking. Right? Oy. But she's a twit. She's been okay recently about not leaving her dogs out too much after they start squawking. It's like, you know what? The dog is squawking. It's saying, I want to come in now. Listen to your damn dog. So hopefully she's getting the point that nobody wants to hear her poor dogs out there screaming, let me in. Or I'll have to be the one that'll go over there and say, hey, let your damn dogs in. They don't want to be out there. They want to be with you. Remarkably enough, they like you. Yeah. I think I used that word twice this morning. I don't like to double up on my big words. Remarkable. Remarkably. High remarks. Yeah. Remarketed. What? Shut up. Don't make shut up. All right, I won't. Yeah, I will. I can't help it. Yeah. I'm excited about the whole shit thing. I'll probably bring up this graphic over here on my graphics computer. It's not as fast and it doesn't have as much memory, but in fact I should see how much I have available. We're talking not much. Oh yeah, that's screwed. That's bloody hell. Bloody hell. Alright, what do we got here? Flashback. ELO on disc. Nice. I had this 3-disc ELO set back in the 90s, 2000s. And I special ordered it. I found out about it. The guy told me about it, so I special ordered it and got the 3 CD set. Had it for a couple of years and then lost all my CDs. I never replaced them. That was about the time I gave up on music anyway. And then I searched and I searched and I searched, literally for almost a decade, trying to find that damn 3 CD set, that box set. Couldn't find it. Couldn't find it anywhere new. And I just recently went to one of my internet resources and downloaded it for free. Right? In 3 sets, ready to burn onto disk. So I got my burner set up right here. Remarkably enough, that's a 3 for there. Was this a running gag? Remarkable. So I'll try to do that and get that to check to see if it's on this computer, and if not, then I have to cloud it over and do that and get it up and on there. So I'm not going to screw around on this computer. I'm going to have to just get rid of a bunch of stuff. That's all there is to it. I've got a lot of stuff on this desktop, which is where I keep everything. I don't like to keep anything buried. I don't have anything under pictures. I don't have anything under videos or music or, pardon me. I don't have anything in documents. I don't have anything in any files anywhere other than on the actual desktop. I create a file on the desktop and I use it there. And if it's not there, then it's down into the external hard drive, which is where I store stuff. So anything that I've got going on this computer, pretty much right on where I see it. So I need to go through every one of those files, and every one of those files that is actually on the computer and not just from the cloud. I need to just move. Well, once I move it off this desktop, it's removed from this desktop. If I replace it, or what do you call it? Yeah. If I restore it, then it comes back, and then it pops up, and then it clouds again, and then it clouds over to here. I don't mind if it's on this computer in cloud form, then I can access it at any time. But I've got a lot of stuff piling up, a lot of graphics, and a lot of things just piling up over here. So I got to thin it all down now. I need to give myself about 40 or 60 gigabytes of free memory so that I can create. Same thing over here. I'm running out of space over here. I just freed up about 60 gigs, and I'm chewing through that. So once I get that gate finished and get that external hard drive, then I'll be back to clouding from this computer over to this computer and dividing it between one hard drive or another. I'll have 2 external hard drives plugged into this computer then. This one's got a pretty decent sized hard drive, so as long as I keep stuff off of this one and moving over to this external hard drive, this one stays peachy. Peachy. But yeah, my brain's all over the place this morning. Coffee's cold. Coffee's cold. It always takes me so long to explain what I did yesterday, what I did with my summer. Mainly because, I'm tangent man. I just keep going off on these. So let's see. We left the reservation with my different bag of doobage in tow. And we came home by way of another rental that we do because we had to take more trash cans in. It was trash day the other day, and so we get home, and let's see. Of course, I'm starving. Just want to get in here and have noodles. So we leave everything in the car and just come in. So of course, in the evening, I had to go out and unload the wood out of the car. My daughter is still under the weather, so she is going to the campus today, but she won't be going early with her friend. She'll be sleeping in and taking it easy, and then we'll be taking her down and dropping her off so she can do her classes and then come home with her friend. And that's the best thing that she can do at this point, take care of herself. So that's cool. And then it's Wednesday, so my wife will be up in 45 minutes and out of the house within a half hour or so after that. And she'll be running off. She goes on Wednesdays to help some friends. So that's kind of her. She's got routine. She's got schedules and routine and things that she does and people that count on her and things. And I don't have that. I don't have Thursday. I'm taking my daughter to the San Bernardino campus. She's got to go there for a meeting or orientation or some kind of thing, which means we get to go check out the campus. We get to go check it out. We haven't been there yet. She's only been to the this satellite campus. She hasn't had need because she's got all of her classes are here and online, so she's going to be able to get her bachelor's degree from right down here in the desert, which is pretty damn cool. What a savings, right? Transportation, housing. She's totally saving. So, but we'll get to go check out the campus, which means we'll get to check out the swag, right? I got a bunch of swag from the last school that I still haven't had a chance to use. I still have a hat that I still haven't worn. I've got some great shirts that I try to wear as often as possible. I got some great stickers and mugs, and yeah, my favorite keychain is from Copper Mountain College, where she graduated with 3 degrees. I know, Dad. Pat yourself on the back. It wasn't me, it was her. I'm patting her, baby. She kicks ass. She's an ass kicker. Yep. Name taker, heartbreaker, ass kicker, grade maker. She just does it all. I know. That's my job, to boast. And to be there when she says, will you take me to the campus? Sure. Why not? I'm the driver. Well, the main driver. Mom does a lot of these short drives. because if I'm going to throw in, I'm going to throw in for a big one. So we're going to be driving out to the campus. Maybe Mom will go. Maybe she won't. I don't know. She usually likes to have the time alone when Natalie and I go off and do something. So that's cool. But it's a trip out of town. We'll probably drag her along. That'll be neat. And then, yeah. That's cool stuff. So we're coming home from this other house up the street here. It's just like 2 blocks away. Yesterday after we put the trash cans in there, and actually we're driving to the house, and I'm like, there's chairs, there's a TV, and I'm like, TV, and it's like an old tube TV, and so she's like, all right, we'll stop on the way back, and I'm like, all right. So I'm like, be sure to go back the right way, so we go back, we drive by, and she pulls over to it. So I get out, and it looks like it's in good condition. All the buttons are there, the cord's there, it's not cracked or chipped or anything. Screen's good. And I'm like, all right, this is worth a shot. It's just one of those small 13-inch color televisions. And there's 6 chairs, 2 armchairs and 4 table chairs for a dining table. And there's a tall bar stool type thing with a wicker top on it. So we took home the bar stool, right? And it was like, man, I wish we had room for those chairs, because those chairs could be cleaned up like that and would be great in one of the Airbnbs decorated for the past, right? Yeah, perfect old style stuff. So, yeah, see if she wants to go out later today and see if they are still there. Because they looked like they were in really good condition, like they had been in a garage. So I don't know. They're either, if they're not there, then somebody else needed them. So that's cool. But I still have this vision of taking one of these B&Bs that we take care of and decorating it for the 80s. Lots of 70s and 80s decorations, furnishings, decor. Right on. Yeah, I'm really happy about that graphic. It really is important. Really is important, and I started working with it in red because I wanted to print it out. And then from there, I was going to draw it in black over the red and give a nice, big, bold black copy, right? And then scan that. And so I printed it out in red, and I'm working with it, and I'm like, oh, this is not working. The paper is too porous, the ink is too wet, and every time I just dab it a little, it just sucks in. It's going to look horrible, pixelated, right? It's like, all right, I'm going back to the computer. So after drawing for a couple of minutes, not even a minute, I just went back to the computer. And then I spent 4 hours on that damn computer. But the results, magnifique, right? I'm so happy with the results. And I'm happy with these fucking $3 hinges, God, she's going to be really happy about that I was able to find, good hinges, and they're strong. They're not rattly. They've got a good compression in them, and they're stiff. They're perfect for a heavy gate. So yeah, very, very cool. I just need to find a good latch. One that when you swing it shut, it latches. And one that you can reach over it and then just slide and open and then push it back, and then when it comes in, the slide moves over, right? So I need to find that specific slide, and that's it. I think we're going to decide if we're going to seal these boards, which will mean just a clear coat of some kind of sealer to keep them from warping, right? Absorbing moisture from a swamp cooler and then just starting to go snap. But I'm designing this so all I have to do is remove 4 screws at the top and the bottom on one side, slide it out, remove the X, the center of the X bolt, and I just slide boards out, replace a broken board, slide boards back in. That's it, just like that. And I'm building it like that so that the boards have a little bit of play at the top for expansion, right? They have a little bit of play side to side for expansion and contraction. If I seal the boards, I don't have to worry too much about that. So that's just more money, right? Figuring her dogs are going to be jumping on it and scratching it. They're going to be scratching through whatever's on the surface. So, you know what? We're going for a rustic. Once I sand these boards out, that stain is going to have a rustic look to it. So, yeah, that should be pretty neat. We might do a satin finish because it'll look nice. In which case, I'll just get a cheap can of satin finish, wood satin, and just spray it out real quick to give it a nice luster.
Isn't that a casino in Vegas there with the pyramid?
Yeah, that's it. Exactly. Fool.
I saw the episode of the episode of that show, you know, where they made people do crazy stuff and eat bugs and shit.
And what show was that? Well, it weren't Wipeout. There you go. There's my graphic. I can't show it to you up close or for a long period of time. If you want to look back at it, you can freeze the video later. But for the most part, it's a secret. There's a lot of people out there, well, a handful of people out there have a copy of the original shirt. And we're reproducing that shirt. The only thing we're doing is removing it from the old shirt via pixels, digitizing it anew, and adding Lake Elsinore, California to the bottom of it. Right? So we're changing it a little bit. And then what I'm going to do is, once I get this done, I'm then going to put this against the original and go over all of it and look to see if I've removed something that needs to go back, or if I've changed something too much in removing pixels, changing pixels, recoloring pixels. I better do a dog situation here. Well, I hate having to do that in the mornings when she's got to get up early. Because anything that happens in the morning, when I'm sleeping will cause me to stop sleeping, period. So I hate doing that to somebody else, going in making a ruckus. The other day I went in to grab my daughter's Switch after my show so that I could catch up on a few things on Minecraft before I started the show later that day, because I was going to take a nap and I wanted to get some stuff out of the way and get set up for the show. So anyway, I'm in there and I get everything nice and quietly wrapped up and unplugged and in my hands, and then her eyeliner falls over and hits the speaker and bounces onto the floor, and she's like, oh, and I was just felt so horrible, you know. It's just me, I'm sorry, go back to sleep. You know, and because she's got a lot of my natural characteristics, she has a tendency to wake right up instantly. Instant riser. She'll wake up after 2 hours sleep and be ready to go. And that's just one of those things. My wife can do the same thing, but she's sleepy. And you can tell she ain't in the mood for it, right? I'm going to do a little bit of fan action here, because I don't want it to get too stuffy in here. Right. All right, 2 dogs down. Big dog here hasn't gone out. So she's got her head off the bed. She's such a cute dog. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. So now that I have this camera mount bracket thingy, I think I'm going to get rid of this table here, or rather, I think I'm just going to alter this whole room over here and try to make a table in this area here that I can use for working on projects, right? So if I'm drawing on something, you're looking down at what I'm drawing. I'm working on some tapes or looking at a big picture book or something. So I think I'm going to set that up somehow so that you can watch what I'm doing from one angle, and then I'm going to do like a microphone stand that's tabletop. Let me see, where do I have? I have something here that is almost what I need. Right, so this has got legs on the bottom of it, right? And so this then sets on a table, right? So I've got some round base microphone stands that are really heavy on the bottom, right? So that you can put something tall on the top, and it's not going to tip over as long as it's not too heavy, right? Because they're a really heavy weighted bottom. So I think I'm going to set that up and put a small light on the top, so that I've got light pointing directly down at what I'm doing, but also put a USB camera up there so I can switch to the other computer and switch to the graphics computer and access a webcam. And now I've got a camera pointing directly down at what we're looking at. And whether that's coming down from the ceiling or mounted on a little tripod, some kind of little stand, that remains to be seen. But that's kind of the way, and I don't even know what I'm going to do yet. Probably going to start with 8 tracks. I'll probably spend a few days in the morning doing the coffee and the bong hits and the hanging out and the talking, and then turn around and work on some tapes, or turn around and work on something there, just like I would work on editing a video and kind of bring you along with me there. I'll try to set it up in here so that I can kind of bring you along with me on more of the crap that I do. because this is all about getting to know you, getting to know all about you. And something else, right? You take it now. It's your turn. I will turn to my daughter and say, okay, you go. And she's like, mm-mm, mm-mm, mm-mm. Yeah, Elton John and Kiki D, right? That song there. I can't remember the title of it now, but I'll be singing along with it, and I'll turn to her and go, it's your part now. And she's like, mm-mm, mm-mm. She won't even say no. She won't even mouth a word, because I might put a word into her mouth or something, right? Oh, hilarious. But she'll sit over there and turn red and laugh anyway. All right, I'm going to heat this coffee up really hot. And then find something to play with. Totally. Yeah, man, I've been totally out of it. That's what I've been totally out of it, man. Oh my God, like, no way, man. Uh-huh. For sure. Like, for sure. Oh my gosh. Yeah, Square Pegs, man. Love that show. I watched another episode yesterday. Very cool. Wow. Sometimes I think about all the stuff that has to happen for this reunion, and I just get overwhelmed. And it sends me into such a melancholy. I don't know. It just, because I think, how can one guy take care of all of these things that have to be handled? How is by every day thinking about it and doing some little portion that has to be done to get it moving. Like last night's thing, up 4 hours till 1:30 in the morning dealing with that graphic, so that I know that next week, come hell or high water, we're having two shirt designs printed. 25 of each, various sizes that have already been ordered, and we're going to have extra of those sizes, and we should get enough shirts out in donation money to pay for that run of shirts, so that we can start working on the next shirts, and then the next, and then I literally am going to have to get out 1,200 to 1,500 shirt donations in order to make this work. And that's going to have to be on the card that is to be printed or filled out, and printed and then filled out, or just filled out and sent in. But some of the information that has to be on there is donation amount, shirt designs, quantity of shirts wanted, so that they can, donate twice the amount and only ask for the 2 shirts, right? Which would be really cool if people did that and didn't request, You know, I'm going to send in 4 donations and I want all 8 shirts, right? I'm going to send in 4 donations worth, but I only want the 2 shirts. Okay. That's probably not going to happen. I'm assuming that people are going to want the shirts, and that's why the money's going to be coming in, because of the shirts. There are going to be a handful of people who are going to be real excited about donating, and some people who are going to be real excited about coming to the event, but I think it's mostly going to be about the shirts. I think this is going to become a shirt thing, and the shirts are going to pave the way for this event to happen. That's just the way I see it, you know. And if this one graphic that I worked on yesterday is any indication, I'm sold. This is going to work. This is going to be really, really cool. As long as they can deal with the pixelation of this, how do these pixels translate onto the screen and then onto the ink on the shirt, right? Does it look less pixelated? I'm going to assume that yes, because this is such a big graphic already, and it has to be, I think they said 10 inches. Right. Where's me dummy? Where's me dummy? Hello, dummy. Oh wait, I'm the dummy. All right. Well, here's a little one. 5 to there. And then, so this graphic is already 7 inches wide, over 7 inches wide. So it only has to be blown up 3 more inches. And I think even then, to 10 inches, because that's like their default size. Some of the things that have like a lot of thin lines and stuff, I'm going to make 12 inches. Because a lot of people are ordering the XXX shirts, and I don't want a little tiny graphic on somebody's big giant shirt, right? So I want the shirts to be, I want the graphics to kind of work. And later on, when we do mediums, smalls, and extra smalls, I may actually pay for a different graphic and say, okay, look here, I know it's kind of a hassle, but these are just going to look better if we do 2 different sizes, right? And I think this one's going to look just fine if we print this one to 10 inches. And that's the outside to 10 inches. So this graphic actually might be pretty close to what it's going to look like on the shirt, except it's going to be black. And then the caption, the text over the top of it, I think is actually wider than the graphic. Yeah, it is. So it's going to be the 10 inches is going to be and so this is about the size that it's going to look on the fucking shirt. That's beautiful. And it looks almost identical to what, actually mine looks better than it does on the shirt. It's great. That's fucking beautiful. So I just need to do a little bit of modification on this, and I need to sharpen the outer edge, the outer perimeter of this graphic. I need to insert Lake Elsinore, California, and then I think I'm going to work on the caption graphic, the fonts, and go ahead and take that and see if I can come up with something. Now, what I had suggested, which is what Michelle, one of the girls at the t-shirt place, said that she thought the same thing, was that maybe to just redraw it freehand, right? take this, print it out, and redraw it freehand. This might be something that my daughter would be able to, in fact, this is exactly what my daughter would be able to do. So what I need to do is I can't show you because it's a secret right now. But I think what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to make the shape of the bottom of the text, which is kind of rounded over the top of this graphic. It's like just a nice dome shape, and then the top of the text is straight. So I think I'm going to make those two shapes in the size of the fonts, right? And then take and copy and paste, redraw, somehow recreate that text over the top of this graphic. And do the same thing that I'm doing with this, the sharp lines, cut out all the blurriness and the fading of the color, you know, because that's what I'm getting now, is I want a sharp line, and you get that kind of softness around the edges, and I want to lose that softness. So that's why I go in and pixel by pixel remove the different shades and either erase it all together or turn it to one solid color all the way around. So I've got about half of the photograph, the graphic to do, sharpen it. And then I think I'm just going to move right into the text and do that. Add the text to the bottom and then create the text over this thing. Just do it. Just do it. Right? I can do it. I've already, I think, proven to myself. And in all those years working with this kind of stuff and graphic design, I did graphic design school back in the 90s. So that was fun. That actually is coming into play here. My father was in advertising in magazines and stuff, so he did layouts and stuff and had a lot of that. This great green box, plastic green box, you open up and all the little tapes, the borders, and the little edges and the trims and the just all kinds of cool stuff that now you can do on computer. But back then you had to have an X-Acto knife and little bits and baubles of stuff to do all these graphics. So I grew up playing with that kind of shit. Yeah, I remember using some of that stuff when I did a report. It was in the 7th grade, Mr. Riendo's class, and we had to do a front page story from a period in time. It was a history class, so we had to take a historical event, and we had to tell about that event on a front page of a newspaper, right? So we had to decorate and make it look like a newspaper of the day. So a lot of people are using, like, a lot of people got into hieroglyphics, right? Because they could design their letterhead at the top of the page with hieroglyphics, and then use hieroglyphics as like a photograph instead, you know, and then just write in their report or their little thing. And so I took it a step further. I did that, and I designed my newspaper to look like a newspaper because my father was in the graphics stuff, and I had all of that shit. But I also went and found the ancient Mesopotamian, I think is what it was, and one of these ancient languages, and found the alphabet, and did one page in English, and then did the whole page in that language, right? And I got a great grade on that. And had we stayed in that school longer, I probably would have really formed a bond with that teacher, right? And really would have gotten into history and archaeology, which is where I was kind of headed when I was young, you know. But we always wind up moving, and that kind of took the steam out of my sails most often. And I would just give up and go hide. My siblings would take this stuff like a challenge, like, all right, I'm gonna have new friends and I'm gonna do this and that, and, at least that's the way I saw it, and they did. They'd have, new friends and do things and go places, and I was just scared of my own fucking shadow. Holy hell. That's great. Well, I'm going to wake up my wife in 15 minutes or so here. At least she got to sleep early. Smarty pants. Me, not so good, eh? It's not so good. It's not so good. So let's see. Yep, I'm going to finish that graphic today, and I am probably going to want to take it in. I am probably going to take it in. I am probably going to print out, well, I may not be able to print out a copy, not in black anyway. But yeah, I want to go in and see their faces when they check out and see what I've done. Honestly, I hope they do need me down there for this kind of crap. Something that I could sit here and do and send it, email it to them and say, what do you think about this? No? All right, well, let me do this. All right, what do you think about that? Because I'm kind of handy with the computer, as it turns out. I'm probably doing stuff ass backwards, right? Like I should use the tablet for my daughter, and I will probably get that out here. I need to get that. Now, once I get that external hard drive hooked up and dump both of these computers and free up all of this space, whoosh, I'm off and running again. I can get back into editing my videos and full steam ahead, right? I need to get into these programs. I need to pick. I think I've got the next shirt ready. It's hard to just, every time I think I've got the next shirt, another one pops into my head that's like, no, remember that one? That was, no, this, no, oh, but what about that one? Right? That's like, all right. I think I'm ready for a couple of really, really killer ones. Oh, I can't wait. I cannot wait. I say that every day now. I cannot wait. I'm going to have to wait. That's all there is to it. Old broke dick motherfucker is going to have to wait. I hope I got it in me. I hope I got a long enough wait in me. It could get sketchy. Alright. Man, I'm so excited about this graphic. It just looks so bitchin' compared to, what I started with. A blurry, half out of focus picture of a t-shirt that's wrinkled and out of skew. So nothing lines up, right? Nothing, and then the t-shirt. Yeah. Oh, this is going to be so fucking bitchin'. That's it. Yeah. So I am going to, let's see. Oh, that's great. The shows I need to upload today are on this computer, and this is the computer I need to work on this graphic. perfect. Aside from that, I can pop an old movie on or crank on some music. Yeah. Uh-huh. So when I'm reproducing this text, I need to blow it up really big so that when I zoom in, I'm dealing with a lot of little tiny pixels. That is going to sharpen the points, the tips of these letters, because they all got a sharp point on them, except for the O. All these letters have come to a sharp point. And I'm going to need that to be nice and clean, so I'm going to have to blow this up really big. Create a template, a jig for these letters to set in. Copy and paste each one of these letters into their position, size it correctly, and then sharpen it. Oh God, that is going to be so tough. It would almost be better to freehand it. God, I know I could give my daughter an hour and her tablet and she'd knock this out. Oh, to be young. And also intelligent. All right, I can do this. I can heat up my coffee too. Just about time to wake up the Mrs. Kensington. Mrs. Kensington. Oh, God, that is going to be beautiful. I think I did great on the graphic. I actually think I was like, oh man, it's going to be so pixelated once it's blown up. And I'm like, that's as big as it's going to get. Hello? That's it. That's fucking beautiful. I'll size that to, an inch or so bigger on each side than my graphic, right? So I'll create it really, really big, and then I'll shrink it down and put it over the top of my graphic at the right, line it up with the correct letters, and that's it. And then it should be really, really sharp. All the ends of the letters should be nice and crisp and clean. And there's some long tips on some of these things. Okay, that's why, because they're going for not a like round here and square here. They're going for a rounded anamorphic screen type thing, right? That's why the bottom of these letters are in a dome. It's not a dome so much as it's a fade away in a circle. Okay, I see it now. So seeing it that way, because it's not so easy to see that on the shirt, because the shirt is kind of skewed and weird. So looking at it that way, I can now adjust the height of these things in proportion to how far they are out close or how far they are away. Okay. That's cool. That is totally cool. Gosh. Once again, everybody all together. I'm excited. I'm excited. So... figure out how to get down and do this paperwork stuff. I've got plenty of time, but I don't have much time in my schedule right now. Mainly because we're down to one car because of my stupid dead battery, fuel system screwed up van. I love that van and I want to drive it so badly, but the fuel system is just such a pain in the ass right now. Gosh, I'm all getting all fidgety. So I just need to plan a day. I don't want to do it on a Monday or a Friday, but it looks like I'm going to be doing it on Friday. Today, my wife works, and then she's got to run my daughter down to the campus, and there's not enough time in between to go sit down there and wait and do stuff, and not have to run out and get the car back to somebody. So same thing on Thursday. I got to take my daughter down to the campus in the middle of the day, so it doesn't really leave much time to get in and deal with it in the morning, and then be sure to get out of town or be sure to get back in time to deal with it. So it looks like it's going to be on Friday. If nothing else is happening Friday morning, I'll just finish my show here, have some breakfast, get cleaned up, pack up my papers, do any last minute things I need to do, and go punch my ticket and get a walk-in appointment and talk to somebody and get it straightened out. Yeah. Totally. That graphic. It just totally just keeps staring at me on the screen there, and I did a great job. I just need to go in and fix a couple of things, you know, and that's it. That's perfect. Yeah. I need to get rid of that and enhance that. That's going to be beautiful. Fix that, replace that. I love it. I love it. Totally man. Totally man. Oh, there it is. I gotta go get Mom. Wake up, Mom. Yep. Oh before I forget, because I will just get off in my own little world. Oh, sorry, I must have privacy to wake up my wife. So I can say, get up! I'm back, baby. Oh, hey, Chihuahua. Hey, Chihuahua. Rocking and a-rolling. My little gliders. Balsa wood glider. Haven't opened them yet. Been waiting for somebody to come over and have a play date.
Alright, you get on that side of the room and I'll get over, and we'll throw it back and forth. Yay.
And then I've got the one that's got the wind-up propeller, and then the two gliders. I need to get some more of those. Those are fun little novelty things to sit and fiddle with. Back in my late teens, early 20s maybe, I was in one of my depression funks, and we were at the grocery store, and I picked up, they used to come in a little bag, right? You could buy the kites and the gliders and the little planes and all that stuff in a little thing at Stater Brothers. So I picked up a couple of the little propeller plane rubber band deals with the wheels, just neat little deals. And does this one come with the wheels? This one doesn't come with wheels. That's a bummer. I'll have to see if I can find the ones that came with the wheels. So I took them home and I built them and played with them, flew them around, would figure out ways to increase their speed, tight a rubber band, take two propellers and try to get two propellers on one plane. And then I thought, you know what I need is I need more lift. I need real wings. This flat wing thing isn't really doing it for me. So I bought a couple of different kits, and I took, because I didn't have any balsa wood, but I had X-Acto knives, so I took and I created the shape of the wings, right, with little tiny pieces. I made these little shapes that I glued down on top of a flat wing, and then I took a piece of, then I took the other actual wing and took another wing and glued it down over the top of that in the shape of a wing with the airfoil or whatever, that Brunelli's Law or whatever it is, so to give it lift, right? And then I built little rudders and I mean, I just went fucking haywire on this little tiny balsa wood plane that it flew really well, but I think I probably destroyed it soon after I built it, because things crash. But it was really neat to build that thing, you know. And I built it out of like two or three, I think like three kits, three little balsa wood plane kits. Arr. Yeah, the graphics are looking pretty good on that. Got a couple of things I need to fix. And then it's raring to go. Mm-hmm. Oh, well. Move on to the text. Gosh, once again, I'm excited. I can't work on it on this computer. I can't do it over here because this one's live. I can't do it over here because this one doesn't have much memory. And I save multiple copies. I do some work and then I save it. And then I do some work and then I save it as a different file. So I can go back and say, you know what, I don't like what I did here. Let me revert back to this copy and start over again. So I've got a few different, half dozen of these things saved, just this one graphic. And it was in red for a while. And now I'm saving it in black. And now I can finish off the little details that I found that need to be corrected, and then add the stuff that I need to, and then work on that damn text. That text has really been bothering me, but at the same time, I think I got it figured out. I think if I can create it on a grander scale, recreate it on a grander scale, and line it up perfectly the way it needs to be in itself, and then shrink it down to the right size over the top of the graphic, I should be able to get close enough. It doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be close enough. Like I said, a certain percentage off and it becomes original. This ain't going to be an original. This is going to be a vintage knockoff is what it's going to be. Vintage reproduction. But hey, baby, it's going to be awesome. There's a few people I'm going to send this shirt to. The people who won the drawing that I did way back when, before I had shirts. I didn't have any shirts. Like, all right, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? What am I going to do? And I was just going to go in town and buy a shirt, a local shirt, because it was like I didn't have shirts. I was like, you know what? I'm going to wait. I'm going to wait, take my time, and do this right, so that I don't make a boob out of myself. See, I was looking at YouTube the other day and found this great video of Henry Cash talking about the Lamb's Head guitar effects pedal that he created with a friend of his, right? Henry Cash is the lead guitar player for Starcrawler. Let me get a picture of him here. It's Starcrawler there. That's this guy here. This is Henry Cash. That guy there. So that's Henry. This is my autographed Starcrawler by Henry and Billy Cash and Arrow DeWild. Yeah. It was very fun getting this autograph. But it was a really cool video. Him talking about the making of the. Yeah, I mean, it wasn't, you know, like Emmy Award winning or anything, but it was neat. It was neat. It was personable. He's a really down to earth guy. The whole group are really mellow. You'd think that they're like, you know, toxic, but they're not. They're really, really nice, mellow people. I guess, from what I understand, they grew up kind of in that business, right? So they learned how to avoid the bullshit, basically. Is that Tootsie Footsie? Are you ready to go back to bed, Tootsie? You want to go back to bed? You want to go to bed? You want to go near Natalia? You want to go back with Natalia? Okay, let me get you in. I'll be right back. Yeah, so anyway, I hope I have another opportunity to meet up with Starcrawler. They were really, really cool, really, really nice people. And not just to take the time to, you know, to do the autograph and the photo and the hugs, you know, but just to be so freaking cool about it, right? I mean, what nice guys, you know, all the way around, just really bitching. I was impressed with how nice they were right from the get-go. You know, here's a picture of my picture with them. Yeah, I just had this picture printed out so that I could put it in a frame. But it's really, really cool. I think at one point my wife got a photo or a video of me looking up at Arrow with my neck like this, looking up at her, because she just came up. She was like right there next to me. And it was, yeah, I'll have to try to dig that photo up. But that was a fun day. We got there early just so that I could meet these people. And I was gifted with a meeting, and it was really real. They were just so bitchin'. So now I follow them on Facebook. You know, I don't do any of the other social media. I just can't afford the brain power. But I keep up with them on Facebook, and they're just really ultra cool, laid back, bitchin' kids. Dig it. I dig it. Yep. So anyways, the missus is awake. We'll be up hanging out together for a few minutes off and on before she leaves, so the microphone will go off and on, and the camera will go to some weird, like I'll point it over here or something, and you'll look at my shelf with all my little knickknacks. Ooh, there's my Corona cigar box there that I put together the other day on the show, and filled it with all kinds of cool nostalgic items, along with an envelope to put my my donation money in. So there's that. So on occasion I like to throw you over to that so you can check that out. I'll go ahead and set this record over there this morning since we're discussing that. And they're doing a show down in San Diego for 3 nights at the Casbah, I think is what they said. There we go. Yeah. Yeah, I wish I could get out of town more and go see stuff that I really, really wanted to see. Because they'd be on my list. I'm hoping they come back to town again this year. That would be cool. I'd definitely do that again. I would definitely wear really good earplugs. And I wouldn't be concerned about recording so much. I think I would tag my daughter and say, okay, your turn. You record this time. I'm going to get up in her face. Because that's what she likes. She likes people to just get, ah. And I think if I had a lot of caffeine in me, right, and a lot of medication, I could probably just get up and just have all kinds of fun with it, right? Wear a t-shirt that says, old guy slamming, don't hurt me, right? Or something. You know, old guy with broken body, don't slam into me. Make way, I'm coming through. But I would love to pay her the respect of getting up and just jumping all over the place. That would be awesome. A little hard to do in my condition. My daughter is usually too subdued at a concert enjoying the music, which is what I like to do. I just like to sit and watch and enjoy it and remember it and absorb it, right? A lot of people are like all over doing all kinds of stuff, and it's like, how do you remember what happened, right? Like, I remember everything that happened on stage, you know. God, everything that... At one point, she turned around toward the drum, and she bent over, and she went, and just hawked out a big frickin', and then wiped her face, wiped it on her shirt, and then grabbed a bottle of water, chugged some water, turned back around, and started screaming again, right? She is raw and raunchy and gritty and in your face and nasty, but she is the nicest, coolest person in the world. I love her. They're awesome. Yeah, Starcrawler. The sweetest kids in the world. Yeah, in fact, if you look at their eyes, they're looking over at my daughter. They're looking over at Natalie. She's taking a picture as well, but Arrow is already engaging my daughter, you know, talking about her shoe. My daughter wears these knee-high Converse, all laced all the way up, right? And she decorates the laces and adds song titles and stuff to the laces and just goes. So Arrow's like, I love your shoes, you know, and that was really cool. But they were just so sweet, you know. They were like the kids I used to know, you know, and that was really neat. Yeah, it makes me a little weepy-eyed to think of them kids. They're awesome. And even on stage, they're raw and they're raunchy, and they're still, you know, they're really nice. You know, and you can see that by how they interact with the audience, you know. Yeah. Really cool. Oh, and the Velveteers that opened for them, they were a dream. They were awesome. Getting to meet them, getting their autograph, records and stuff. In fact, my daughter's like, they opened, and my daughter, they get done, and she turns to me and says, I want their record. Can you go out and get me their record before it sells out? And I'm like, okay. Which one? That one? I was like, okay. So I went out there. I stood in line, I got the record, and there they come, the three of them, Velveteers, walking out into the back. And so I get the record, and I reach into my bag, and I pull out a Marks a Lot pen, and two of them, in fact, and I walk over and I say, hey, excuse me, can I get your guys? And they say, yeah, give us a second, we're going to put some stuff away. And within less than a minute, they were right back. And all right, hey, and they autographs and photos and really engaging and sweet and friendly, just like the Starcrawler, you know. I was like impressed. I was so impressed with these kids. And I call them kids because they're, you know, like half my age. But they were really nice. They really made me feel like it was okay to be, you know, the super fangasm, you know, because I've been watching these kids on YouTube for a few years, several years, in fact. And I was impressed when I first saw them. So I was like, hey, I got to follow these kids. And when it turned out they were coming to town, you know, I literally had to talk my daughter into it. She's like, I don't know. And I said, okay, well, let's watch one video, and then you can decide. She's like, okay, yeah, okay, I guess we'll go. And the Velveteers open, and she's like, yeah, I love them. And then after the Starcrawler, she's like, yeah, I'm sold. These guys are awesome. These guys are awesome. Awesome sauce. So then she had to get one of their shirts, right? Because I think she was like, I like the Velveteers shirt, so I want one of those because it's cool. Yep, the kitchen is open. We're coming to you live today from Hop Sing's Kitchen on the Ponderosa, up there near Lake Tahoe. That's where we are today. We're going mobile. Hop Sing's Kitchen, where East meets West. You get Chinese cuisine on the ranch. Ah, jeez. Hop Sing. You know, he actually put out, the actor who played Hop Sing put out a cookbook. I think he put out a couple of cookbooks. And went out on shows as, like, Hop Sing, promoting this cookbook of Hop Sing's recipes, right, that he would have cooked on the Bonanza show for the Cartwrights, right? That's weird. That's a little weird when you're living this character so much that you're writing books as this character and then going out on tour as this character to promote a book you wrote as the character. Yeah, weird. Totally weird. But hey, you know, whatever you gotta do to dodio. That's what you gotta do. Uh-huh. So be sure to tip your waitress. Oh, look at the coffee's almost gone. If I was like at a cafe, I would just start up there and say, hit me. Give me a warm-up, toots. And then this old gray-haired lady with just a bag full of wrinkles on her face would come up and say, hey, how much you want? Is that decaf or regular? And her name's usually like Vera or Madge or Mabel or something. Estelle. Oh, yeah. Dems was the days. Hanging out in coffee shops all day, smoking cigarettes. Drinking lots of coffee, doing coffee talk. That's some good stuff right there. Enamored, that's a good word. I like enamored. Yep. Mm-hmm. Well, it's a good thing I didn't get much sleep last night. I'd be too loopy. Remember, I get loopy when I have too much sleep. I'm fine on a little sleep because I'm used to it. But I get too much sleep and I start getting cuckoo in the cabeza. What the hell did he just say? He's not allowed to say that. He can't say that. He can't say that. I said it. I said it. My wife's like, stop saying it. I'm out of here. You kook. Yeah, kook. Cucaracho. Aye. Now I'm a cuckoo roach. Cuckoo roach. See, I talked her into going to Starcrawler too, my wife, and she actually enjoyed it. She thought they were kind of kooky. It was loud. We all went deaf. I was deaf for 3 days afterwards. My ears were ringing, right? We made the mistake of not putting in earplugs. And we were right up against the stage, which meant right up against all the amps were right there. By the end of Starcrawler, my ears were ringing, or by the end of Velveteers, by the time Starcrawler came on and did one song, they blasted my ears so badly that it sounded like she was singing on helium. My ears were so warped. It was horrible. And then for like 3 days, there was a ringing and a buzzing, and it sounded like I was talking into a box like this. It was really weird, man. It was real. I've never had such ear damage before from a concert, and I'm talking front center at Van Halen and Metallica. I mean, getting right up in there, baby, at some shows, and it was nothing like this. Mainly because it was a small venue, a couple of hundred people, and it was in a small room, and the shit was so fucking loud. It was just bouncing off the walls. It was crazy. It was crazy. But it was a hell of a fucking blast. I can't wait till they come to town again. I love Starcrawler. They're awesome. I think this time, if I know that they're coming to town, I'm going to get in touch with them little kids, and I'm going to say, hey, we're doing lunch this time, kids. We're doing it. That's it. Oh, I'm going to have to get more coffee or something. Yeah. Totally. They've got this really cool little house next to Pappy and Harriet's where they put the band before the show, before and after the show. That's the bungalow. They go there, the room there for the band to hang out and do whatever they got to do. And it's really, really cool, you know. So, yeah. It's real easy to catch them going from the venue to the cabin and back and forth during the pre-show stuff and during the show and after the show. So that's the neat part about Pappy and Harriet's, is that you're always up close and personal before, during, and after the show. You know? And I found that out when we went out. We got invited from some friends to go out and see Big Sandy and his Fly Right Boys. And I had never heard of these guys before. And I'm thinking, all right, it's a real good local friend here that's inviting us out. We don't get out much, and we don't get to go out and do a lot of stuff with them, especially. So it was like, yeah, we'll go. I'm like, I don't care what it is, you know, freaking, you know, cabaret, freaking dancing, or, you know, fucking anything. And it turned out to be rockabilly music style stuff from like the 50s and 60s. And I'm like instant infatuation with this Big Sandy and his Fly Right Boys. So as soon as the set is over, I run outside and with my wife in tow, accost Big Sandy and ask to get a photo from him. And he just does a bunch of great poses and hangs out with me, and I ask for a hug, and he is the most gracious guy and gave me the biggest bear hug. If you ever get a chance to get a hug from Big Sandy, do it. He's the sweetest guy in the world. So if they ever come back to town again, I'm all over it. I am all over it. And I'm going to take in a photograph to have him sign, and you know, whatever music stuff I can get together, I will take it and have him autograph it for me, and get a new photo, because he's just the nicest guy in the world, really. You know, all of his videos that he posts, music videos, the videos of him traveling all over the world now doing his music. I mean, he is literally everywhere. Germany, Europe, Italy, you know, and he's always traveling with his wife. I think his wife's name is Betty. Forgive me if I'm wrong. And they're just a remarkable couple. He just showed this video of him in, it's not the Sistine Chapel, but it's one of those cathedrals, right? And he does this panoramic view all the way around, and then his wife comes into the video real quick, right? It was like the cutest thing in the world. It was just awesome. But he's always posting videos of himself on a plane, and he always gets 2 chairs, or he gets the big seats, right? Because he's a big guy. But he always posts about something about traveling the way he does, you know, in not necessarily first class, but big class. Yeah, I can't remember what the phrase that he used, but he's just a lot of fun. And then I got to meet Ben Harper up there, which was really cool, and his daughter. Unexpected treat. I wish I'd remembered to bring his records for him to sign. That would have been great. That would have been really sweet. Had I known how Pappy and Harriet's worked when we saw Lucas Nelson and Promise of the Real, I probably would have ditched the last song to get outside to the back gate where he would have come out, and I would have done anything I could to get an autograph or a photograph with him, because he's like one of my ultimate favorite current celebrities. Yeah, I'd probably do anything to get a chance meeting with him. That would be very, very cool. But that's a tall order. Yeah, because he don't tour anymore with Promise of the Real. He's doing kind of a solo guest act thing all over the place right now. And I don't know exactly what he's doing. I think he's just going to he's going to just launch himself as a solo artist now. Even though he always headlined Promise of the Real, I guess everybody felt like it was time to take a break after 10 years. Feel lucky, like way lucky, that I got to see them not just once but twice. So it might be end of an era. I'm hoping they're going to do some kind of comeback thing, right? Or get together on occasion, because they're a hell of a group. Hell of a group. Great stuff, I'm telling you. Well, Papa Doopa Dooby Dooby Doo. Old Time Radio Wednesday. Be sure to check out what's uploading at 8, 8:30, 12, and 12:30 today. It's always something good, something really good. So, and then of course at 4 o'clock every day during the week, we get some kind of educational film. And those are always fun, so be sure to tune in to see what's popping up, what's new in the old world. In the old world. It's cool stuff. I got the picture of those Starcrawler guys up on my computer there, and they just have great smiles, all of them. It's great smiles. Great. It's great. It's great. It's great. It's great. It's great. It's great. 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 Wow. Gosh. I was just at Walmart the other day looking at frames for these photos, and they're not too expensive. There's like $250 for an 8x10 frame, and it's a nice one. It's not one of the little cheap, thin-edged plastic ones. Those are like $1. It's like, well, that's just crap. So yeah, and it only costs a few more bucks to get these things printed out on an 8x10. Because like my photography professor said, an unprinted photograph is just kind of a waste. It's not even a photograph. It's just bits. It's just ones and zeros. It's nothing until it's printed out and is tangible. It's not a photograph. No matter what you want to do with it on a screen, it's not a photo. And it can't be enjoyed as a photo until it's printed out. That's old school thinking, of course, because now very little is printed out. Most stuff is viewed on a screen, but it's still. I guess I'm old school because I want to feel it and look at it and hold it. And then if I ever see these guys again, well, then I've got one printed out that I can run in and say, "Hey, sign this for me, man. Remember me? Hey? Now get out of here, you freak." Oh my God, it's that guy. Don't look at him. Don't look at him. All right. I'll go away. Sheesh. Crisis averted. Oh, you didn't return any of those messages he kept sending, did you? He's going to think you like him. try not to do that. I'll comment on stuff that they post, and I get a giggle when they put thumbs up or a heart on something that I comment, or even better when they send me back a comment for something I did. You can tell right away if it's them or somebody pretending to be them, right? And then it's like, you shun them. Get away from me. How dare you come at me because you want to sell me t-shirts or tickets or something. Get out of here, you loser. Oh my God, it's really you. Yeah, like that never happens. I have gotten comments from Lucas Nelson. I've gotten comments from Big Sandy. I think I've gotten comments from Starcrawler. Ben Harper commented on some posts or comments that I made. So that's always uplifting. That's always neat when you make a slight connection with one of your favorite celebrities. And, you know, it's like a little aha moment, you know. It's cool. It's a little contact, little connection, you know. It's all right. Let's see. Yeah, I'm going to try to upload 7 of these videos today. Old Time Radio Show dealies. Get those uploaded. Try to work on that gate today so that I can get that external hard drive. That's important. It's like just as important as that gate is to her and her dogs, that the money for making the gate is important to get that freaking hard drive, you know. A little tit for tat. Aha, aha. Just constructing and reconstructing that gate in my head all the time, just like I'm always working on these graphics in my head all the time, or thinking about this reunion or something all the time, and I just keep, it's like my brain's on shuffle. It's like, okay, let's think about this for a minute. Okay, let's go over here now. Okay, well, let's go back here. All right, write something down. Hurry before you, oh, you forgot it already. Damn it. Yep, that's it. It's my, what do they call that? ADHD, OCD, STP, all that other shit. LMNOP, that's my favorite. QRST. Yeah. EFG, take that. IBM. HAL, what? Alright, enough of that. NBC. The National Broadcasting Company. Is it the Blue Network or the Red Network? Which one was that? I don't know. I forgot. All right, checking the situation here. I'm back in a flash. All right, I'm back, babies. I am back. I got some hot coffee here. There was half a cup left. So there's that. Oh, boogity, 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 shoop, shaboogie. Shoop, shoop, shaboogie. A shoobity boogie, boop, boop, shaboogie. Ah. 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 See, now I'm going to have to take a leak. Yeah. And the missus is out the door. So that's 45 minutes from awake to door. 45 minutes. I don't do anything that quick anymore. It takes me an hour just to think about getting up to doing something. Look, this show takes 3 hours, right? And when I'm done with this, I might have enough gumption built up to do something. But more than likely, it won't be anything too physical, right? I think I don't have any choice once again today. I'm going to have to squeeze in a nap somewhere, but I think I've got to do this graphic design stuff first, and then I've got to get out there and sand 24 boards. And basically I need to rough sand off splintering and then smooth sand them so that they look rustic, right? I don't need to make them smooth like cabinets. They just need to be smooth so that you don't pick up splinters. And I will be putting a sealant on there to keep them from fraying out, even though we're going to have dog claws on them. She's actually a dog groomer, so her claws probably aren't, her dog's claws aren't too crazy. So I think my wife was sufficiently impressed with the fact that I stayed up late and got these graphics done. And they look really, really good. So I'm going to fix a couple of things and then save that in itself in black, and then get into the fonts and the text of this thing and knock that out in a couple of hours. And then probably finish off my morning by sanding those boards, and then probably taking a shower because I'll be covered in dust. After my shower, it's probably going to be lunch and a nap because, you know, that shower thing makes me sleepy. All right. Cheers. Oh, yeah, sweet and hot. Oh, yeah. So this computer over here, my graphics computer, last night went through a update, and then this one here is now wanting to go through an update. So I guess after the show I'll update this one, reboot it a couple of times, and then yeah, start working on that graphic. While that's happening, I'll be over here getting these shows uploaded, which means that I'll be able to put some kind of movie on somewhere. I could just put it on right in front of me, pop some Netflix on, put it right here, put the headphones on, listen to some whatever's playing there. Go in my own little world. I might do that. I might get done here, eat a little something, and just crawl right into bed for a couple of hours. That hour hour-ish that I got last night, that sleep just is not doing it for me. I'm doing another half a cup of coffee here, and it's just, it ain't happening. I'm slipping into a world again. That's okay. Got about 25 minutes here and then I'm gone, babies. I can hang that camera today, get rid of that tripod, if nothing else. And then I can continue trying to organize this room so that I can strip it, dust and vacuum and Febreze and yeah. And then just try to keep it clean until my guest is gone, right? So that I don't look like a complete stooge in my, little shack here that we live in squalor and poverty. I think I've got it dressed up pretty nice for a guest, for what it can be. The bed's comfy. The house is clean. Things work. So, So my floor's a little wonky. What are you going to do, eh? So things are old and crappy. Well, like me. Right? What's the big deal? I like old and crappy. Now, a fold-up table of regular size is too big for here, for a table to work on. A desk, I think, is going to be too big, unless it's a small, really small, like student desk that you would buy to put in your kid's room, right? So I'm going to have to come up with some kind of table to put right here next to me. So I can just spin my chair around, flip the camera to a different camera, and work on something with y'all hanging out with me, right? Not that anybody shows up at any time, but I think that would be cool. And then I could do a little twist on the show. Hey, today we're going to fuck around with this. Have a close-up cam that I can use, manipulate to poke in and look at stuff up close. That'd be cool. What are you going to do, eh? Schlemiel schlemazel. Yeah. So once again, we've got a few different things going on. Table. All right. So let's see. I can knock out pretty much this whole list today. There, which is in turn will do nothing for that list. Great. I think this is more of a long-term to-do list, and this is a short-term post-it, got to do it now. There we go. I just explained myself to myself. It's a good thing I know what I'm talking about. Otherwise, we'd all be lost. What am I talking about? I don't know. Talking about getting something to eat and getting some work done. And what is it I am going to eat? Egg and toast? I try to steer clear of eggs unless I've got something big with them. Otherwise, I just get gas. I get gassy.
Yeah, like unleaded. I would do like a huevos rancheros thing, but I'm not really in the mood. Oh, yesterday we made biscuits and gravy, and there is one biscuit and some gravy left over. So it looks like that's what I'm eating this morning when I'm done with this show. Biscuit and gravy. Now, don't forget, dummy. I'll go in there and stand there for an hour going, what was I going to eat? Okay. So I got breakfast figured out. I'll do breakfast, put on a show on this thing here, and then just dive right into the editing of that graphic, and finish off all of that and get that done. At the same time, do my stuff here, and then it's not too hot lately. Of course, they say it's a heat wave, but I'm used to 100 degrees. It's only 71 out now. It's probably only going to be into the 80s or 90s today, so I'll go work out under the tree, get the sanding done, just knock it out, wear some fucking gloves, get the sanding done, and then hopefully tomorrow or the next day build that fucking gate, and then one more day to get it over there and install it, and then get some pay. Get that hard drive by the weekend so that I can clean up these computers, start making some more videos. I can't even really work on a video time machine. I'm going to have to, but I've got to move a bunch of shit around first so that I can accomplish that. Man. Okay. I'm pretty proud of myself about that graphic. I really am. I'm going to send a message to Michelle this morning and let her know. I think it says Lindsay, but I think it's Michelle. Okay, there goes my text. Somebody's got to be up drinking coffee, is going to read this and go, hey, I was just going to work on that. Cool. And I hope that I'm able to get this taken care of so that they can move on to other stuff, their own other stuff. And then I'm just going to, from now on, just take charge of creating graphics. We'll print what I have ready already in succession as we get things paid for. And then when we get toward the end, we'll be doing the stuff that I'm having to recreate. There's two more reproductions that I have to do. One is a complete reproduction, and another is it's going to be an original reproduction. So that will be fun. Yep. Funski on a bunski. I am literally going to have to scour the internet for photographs of all of this font and these text and these stickers, and yeah, that's going to be a chore in itself. And then compiling it all, finding the alphabet out of all of it, and then taking those, resizing them, recoloring them all to match. It's going to be a repixelating all that whole 9 yards. That's going to be a big one. That's going to be a big one. Let me take care of a dog real quick, take a leak. I'll be right back. Check this out. I'm back, baby. All right, while I was in the restroom, I heard a message come in, and it is from them. Great. They didn't know when they were going to find the time to do it. Let's say, totally. There we go. Okay. Positivity, baby. All right, that's going to be great. It's going to be fucking fantastic, man. Okay, so we'll do that. And then the next project will be making sure that all the graphics are perfect for each one and making a finalized file for each one. The first two, I already have one that's final. That's going to get bumped over into its own finished file. And then this one, of course, will go there next. And I've already got the next two ready in my head that I want to do. And then the next two after that. That's going to be fucking awesome. And it all comes down to getting the first shirts out to people and getting those advertised. That's it. And then getting them to follow along with the way I want to do the donations, right? You got to fill out the donation card. You got to do cash, check, or money order. You got to send it to my P.O. box. If I'm going to mail you something, I figured, fair's fair. You got to mail me something. So I'm going to create a mailer. Something that you can print out and mail to me in an envelope with a cash, check, or money order. And you'll just fill on a donation amount. Shirts wanted, how many of each. Size, what have you. And then color, when we do color. I like that some of the shirts will have only one color, because that is the signature of the shirt, is the color, right? And they're a limited edition. And I don't want to do, if I'm going to do two colors, I might wind up doing 100 of each color, right? So that I can get to my 1,500 shirts without having to create a whole bunch of extra graphics. Although it's been fun so far. And more graphics, every time I sit down and look at them, more pop into my head. So, yeah. I can't believe it's almost time to boogie on out of here. So, yeah, do little biscuits and gravy. Little biscuits and gravy. And then that right there is going to be the fire in my stove here to get me rolling along. I'm going to eat that food, and between that and this coffee and getting severely dubed up here to kill some pain, put on a nice old flick and just lose myself in it, right? Crack my daughter's door open a little bit, put on the headphones so I don't have to hear the dog, let them do whatever they want to do, in and out, and just sit in here and clickety-click, clickety-click, and just get pixelated, man. Just get fucking pixelated, baby. All right. And I think I will volunteer to go in there and learn how to use their screen printing stuff, so that I can free up them to do other stuff. Because we're doing this in kind of a donation thing, right? They're being really cool about payment at the t-shirt place. So whatever I can do to help them get this to me quicker, I'm only helping myself, really. If I were to do something directly for them, I'd say, hook me up with a little discount here and there. Otherwise, I would just be in there doing stuff to help and to have fun and to learn these things, yeah, I mean, gosh, if they got a die cutter in there, look out. I'd say, okay, I'm your die cutter guy. I can make the dies, do the die cutting. Yeah. Yeah, man. Right? That's great stuff there. Or one of those old printers that looks like a die cutter. I can do that. I can totally do that. Put me on a machine, girls. I'll sit at a machine for 3 or 4 hours. I'd go outside, get loaded once in a while, come back in, work on a machine, you know, listen to an audio book, you know, and do stuff that I enjoy doing. My wife was watching a couple of the things that they were doing in there, and she's like, oh, I remember when I used to do factory stuff, and that was fun. You know, we enjoy that kind of stuff. You know, creating products and doing projects and mock-ups and prototypes. I love doing prototypes. Here's 3 prototypes. Which one do you like? I like this one and this one. Can we modify it? Yeah, sure. Why not? Why not? Let's do a 4th one then. And I like a place where my creativity and my ideas are appreciated, you know. Because I don't require compensation for any of this. It's just me being me, right? And that's the neat part, is I get to be me. You know, don't worry about paying me, you know. You kick down in kind some way, but it doesn't have to be about money, you know. It's just about being able to do stuff, you know, and have fun doing it. So I hope that I get a lot of hands-on making these shirts. More than just designing them, more than doing the computer work, you know, more than just picking out the colors, but to actually be involved in putting it together, you know. Yeah, baby. They're probably working on the labels inside here now, right? Because the girl was, my wife said, hey, look, they're working on your stuff. And I was so into what was going on, I did like, oh, wow, that's cool. And I didn't even realize that she was talking about my labels that go inside the shirts. And I'm like, I'm oblivious. And then I just about broke down into tears looking at those labels. So they're probably putting them in the shirts now, because we've got 50 shirts there to work with. So if not, next time I go by, I'm going to be like, how do I do this? And show me how, and give me a spot, and I'm doing it. Get pictures of me doing it. Yeah, I can't wait. I can't wait. It'll be neat. It'll be really neat. I still have yet to design shirts for the event and graphics for event swag, event merchandise. And they have so many things to choose from at this place. They do everything. Yeah. Honestly, I'm just trying to stay alive long enough to get this reunion thing going, right? And to get it, make it happen. I haven't heard back on the house yet, so I'm going to have to pursue it with vigor, with mucho gusto, gusto. Yeah. And if not, move on to the next choice, you know. And my next choice looks like it's just going to be just as good. It'll be a little different setup. I don't know that we'll actually get a house, but we might be able to get one like right on the same block or street or next door or something. So I need to keep moving and moving and moving and moving. And then once I get to the house that we're going to use and it's guaranteed, then I need to start making the payments and get it paid for. Once that's paid for, then we move to start paying for entertainment. And on that note, I am going to check out of here for the day. And I am going to eat my biscuits and gravy. And I'm going to move on. Moving on over. Moving on over. Because I got to go, baby. I got stuff to do, people to see, things to make, all kinds of stuff. All right. So, as usual, I want to remind you all out there to be kind to each other. All right? Spread peace and love, not bullshit and war. Take care of each other. If you're going to do something out there for yourself, do something for somebody else as well, because we're in this together, you guys, all right? And we gotta think about each other, all right? But most especially out there, I want you all to stay weird, because if you ain't weird, ain't nobody gonna do it for you. All right, people, love you. Adios. See you in the morning.